Hi guys, I'm Shmi. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Boiling Dubai, one of the supercar capitals of the entire world and home to some epic hypercar dealerships. Now today we're going to be heading to the newest showroom to open up in town, Pupil of Fate, where they have a lineup with not one but two McLaren Speedtails, so much more. You need to stay tuned to see what's there, but we'll be driving over with my Gumball 3000 car, the Manhart TR900, a Porsche GT2 RS on steroids and a half. There have been a lot of things circulating about this car over the last couple of days. It's all well and good. We're just taking a bit of a hiatus mid-rally, a break for a couple of days after a manic travel period recently, but I want to explain exactly what happened, what you've heard, what the story is, but the car is fine, believe me. We're going to be driving it over to Pupil of Fate today. We're actually parked up here alongside another Gumball car that's at Mission Motorsport, where we've been having the car checked over while we've been here. But also, if you're a fan of Manhart cars, you can win right now a Manhart MH3 600 with BOTB. But more on that a little bit later. For now, let's explain a little bit more about this. Let's get on the road. Let's head over to Pupil of Fate to go see the newest hypercar showroom here in Dubai. If you know me, you'll also know that I'm a big fan of some of the cars around us right now. There's a CLK 63 Black Series right there. There are plenty of Porsches that are worked on here at Mission Motorsport. There's also Paint Protection Solutions just across the road who are responsible for installing all of the stickers, the livery for the Gumball 3000 cars. And quite a few were just at the start line. I talked about that at the time, just taking part in certain elements of the rally, especially going over to Oman, where the Gumballers are at the moment. We've actually had, well, today would be day 3 of the rally, I believe. This car, as I also mentioned, is wrapped in the exact same Innositec Midnight Green that I had on my Taycan Turbo S back at home, contrasting beautifully with the gold accents to match the magnesium wheels. Obviously, Team 150 returns after being on the Shelby GT500 for the Toronto to Miami Gumball 3000, but we had to bring the car in to have a check over for the reasons you might have seen mentioned online. But it's quite a funny, if I can say that, funny considering the potential circumstances story that I want to explain a little bit to you about today. So we need to get on the road. It is far too hot standing out here. Let's get this started, get the AC running and get over to the dealership. Quickly before we go, right across the road, we have stumbled into J&KD Supercar events with more of the Gumball cars, including the SF90 Stradale and the Satin Black. The GT2 RS MR is tucked in back there, plus some other nice cars. The Urus, Performante, 812 Superfast, 488 Spider. Not bad, hey? Deja vu then. It feels like the Gumball 3000 start line. Let's get this started. It's so hot. Oh yes, this thing sounds like an absolute monster and it's ready to be driven. We're going to be joining the Gumball for some of the later legs and stages of the rally. But step one, let's turn off the radio, is to head out and make our way over to Pupil of Fate and explain a little bit more about this as we go. As we make our way over, stuck in a little bit of traffic, but finally moving, heading straight up towards the Burj Khalifa, I had mentioned at the end of day 1, after we drove the start line and joined to the lunch stop, that basically we weren't going to be continuing initially on the Gumball. Think about this, less than a week before, we were at SEMA in Las Vegas, before then driving to Utah to visit James again, drop off the car, flying to San Francisco, flying all the way to London, collecting the GT500, then flying to Dubai, all with a 12-hour time shift, landing in Dubai on registration day for Gumball, and then the next morning starting the rally. I knew I was going to be shattered, and that wasn't going to be realistic. So actually, we didn't even pack the car. In this car up front, being a car from this region, you actually have a spare wheel in there, which means you have to squeeze all of your luggage in here. And you'll have noticed at the start day, we didn't have any luggage with us because we did not intend to continue the drive on that particular day. We're going to be catching up and rejoining with Gumball actually in a few days' time for the later stages of the rally. But in the meantime, while we're here, I did want to get this car back out and go and drive it a little bit because we're here in Dubai with the GT2 RS from Manhart. This is pretty epic, if I can say so, and we're now heading over to Pupil of Fate, where I've never been. I know a couple of the guys who are there, but I've never been to visit because it was not yet open during the last time I was out here in Dubai with the GT Black Series, which obviously coincidentally is the car that I now left with James in Utah, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, thankfully all is completely well, but I do need to explain what you might have seen and why there might have been a little bit of panic that things perhaps could have gone a different direction. But there's something else I do need to tell you more about first. Having pulled over, it is time to explain what you would like to know about this car, plus what exactly this tag is about, but we'll get to that in a moment. If you're a fan of Manhart products, with BOTB, as I mentioned, you could win a Manhart MH3 600. That's their full conversion package for the new generation M3. We're talking the power upgrades to over 600 horsepower, as much as an M5 CS, the exterior carbon fiber, the Manhart wheels, a total value over £100,000. It's in the dream car competition alongside many other cars, but for the MH3 600, tickets are £2.85. You need to be over 18 to enter, but you can play worldwide. What are you waiting for? Check out the information down below or enter at botb.com and you could be the next winner of a Manhart MH3 600. Now I need to explain this because you might have seen a little bit about the car. You might have seen some pictures with the engine bonnet up. In fact, let me just open this very quickly, and certainly with some powder around the car. And if you were just glancing at it, you might have rightfully, to be honest, suspected the worst. It looked like it could have been an engine fire. Thankfully, it was not. Otherwise, I wouldn't be shooting this video right now. What actually happened to the car is that as we departed from the Gumball 3000 grid, somewhere along the way, remember it had been idling for ages, it had picked up some debris underneath the exhaust system, kind of down here on this side. So we were driving along and somebody alongside us told us we need to pull over urgently. I jumped out, saw a lick of flame coming from underneath the car, grabbed the fire extinguisher, extinguished it immediately. Thankfully, we had the police there with us as well. But obviously you don't take chances in that type of scenario. What we have since discovered is that what had happened is something had literally made contact that had been picked up from the ground with the exhaust box, which was obviously totally boiling hot and obviously had ignited inside the heat shield. But what's crazy is despite all of that, and now having had it checked over and fully cleaned up, as you can see, there's nothing really to panic about, a little bit of things that we still need to just wash up properly. There's nothing left to be worried about. There are no problems, but I tell you what, that was a panic I'd rather not repeat. It certainly was not, as some people have spread rumors, that the car had caught fire itself. But I think had we been a little bit slower, that fire could have expanded. And this is a topic I'm certainly very aware of. Unfortunately, a couple of my close friends have recently been in that situation, and it's horrific and a horrible thing, and I'm very, very relieved it wasn't the case here. It's just crazy to think that all it was something getting caught in there, and that's how quickly it could then translate into something much worse. So of course the fire engines were there, there's a whole process, and the car actually out here has to go for a full inspection. So this is basically the Dubai police inspection tag, which is why the car then had to go to the investigation location, had to go through all of the checks, had to then be released. Then we got to clean it up and got to have a look and see if there was anything actually wrong with it, which thankfully there wasn't, and we're good to go. And basically we're straight back out on the roads now, thankfully, with all being well. So let me close this back up. We shall head over and go to visit Pupil of Fate, which is around the corner from where we are now, to go and show you what they've got inside. And before anybody suggests it, no, in 24 hours, we have not sourced an identical GT2 RS, done all of the Manhart power upgrades, wrapped it in midnight green, done all of the Gumball livery, and prepared all of this. Before you start thinking that's what we've done, no, this is the exact same car that we were with on the start line. It is the exact same car that sounds like a beast. It's so angry and aggressive, and I can't wait for these later stages of the rally. We're going to be heading to Ras Al Khaimah, to the Dubai Autodrome, and eventually to the finish line at the Abu Dhabi F1. But we need to head around the corner. Oh, the AC is so nice. Let's go and see this showroom that we've come to check out today. At some point, we're going to have to take a full-on listen to what this car offers, but this is where we are headed. Pupil of Fate. First time coming to visit. Yeah, I already see a Chiron, 2 Speedtails, an SLR, and more. Let me pull in right here, and we're going to head inside and go have a proper look around. Look at this, Porsches aplenty. We're clearly in the right place. Coming by with the GT2 RS. Now I've got to watch because we've got a carbon fiber splitter on the front of this, and we do not want to smack that into the curb. But cool, we're here. Let's go check it out. Welcome to Pupil of Fate, where we have 2 sides to go and explore. Over that away, but we're going to start in this direction. Now, Pupil of Fate is a venue unlike any other of its nature. The amount of space, the feeling that you have with the cars and the way they're shown. A beautiful Ferrari 250 Lusso, but feast your eyes over this area, each car enabling you to have the opportunity to actually focus on it, to take a proper look at that particular car with all of the light coming through the windows, the amount of space around, the soft music playing in the background as well. This particular Aston Martin 177Q series is one very close to my heart. You might have seen it before, but look around here. We're standing right next to the Aston Martin Lagonda Taraf. We have the pair of McLaren Speedtails that I'd mentioned before. We have a car I'd never previously heard of, to be honest. The Mercedes SLR McLaren Crown Edition that come on through. There's a Bugatti Chiron, a couple of SF90s, Ferrari Monza SP2 between the 512 and the MC20. But there's very much this sense that you're in a lounge. In fact, this is the Pupil of Fate Club Lounge just behind, with signed race suits, memorabilia, model cars, all sorts of things on display as well. But where do we begin with the cars? I love this display. I love how many seating areas there are. This is something almost to take some inspiration from in terms of a home garage. But let me show you the interior of this SF90 Spider. Take a look at this. The bright orange leather. Now, I know a thing or two about speccing SF90s, having done my Stradale, and you can really let your imagination run wild, but that is quite an out there choice. But I actually really like it against the black paint. Of course, Bugatti Chirons are immensely popular out here in the Middle East. Cars that are reliable and handle themselves well, considering the heat and the temperatures and the way that they're driven in this type of environment. This is a very, very elegant example in the white, with the red interior matching with the red calipers. But let's come through the pair of Speedtails. There are only 106 full production Speedtails in total, plus some prototypes. These are both incredibly low mileage examples, below, well, still in single digits, below 10 kilometers. This blue car, obviously the 3-seat McLaren Hyper GT, part of the Ultimate Series family. In fact, I drove one very recently with my friends, the Triple F collection. But I want to come past the navy blue metallic car towards this, a color called Synergy Green. I've seen, I think, a 675 LT before, and a Senna also painted in this color, a very metallic, very bright green, but a very, very nice color. And I actually really quite like it on the Speedtail, especially out here. It just seems to work. In the middle, we have the Lagonda Taraf. Lagonda Taraf being Aston Martin's hyper-exclusive luxury saloon, in many ways sharing parts with the Rapide S, but of course a bespoke exclusive bodywork, limited in numbers, and you don't see them very often. But this is one that I've just been learning about, the Crown Edition SLR, which is based on the Mercedes SLR McLaren 722, of which there are 150. So you've got the 722 wheels and the upgraded powertrain. But the Crown Edition is very specific, with all of these golden accents and details you can see around. And it's one of only 10. In fact, if I just pop open the door, open those up, you can see inside there's a plaque just beneath the SLR badging in the very center, as well as by the gear shifter down at the bottom. You've got the Crown Edition logos and badging inside there, to let you know what exactly this was. I presume a commission from back at the time, but as I say, I didn't know about it before. All of the logos at the back are all finished in gold, SLR Crown Edition, and even the McLaren badge over towards the other side as well, all finished off, to let you know that's something really special. Exactly what I was saying about cars that are delivery mileage, super limited, super exclusive. That's the height of that, still on delivery miles as well. Over on this side, the MC20, the Ferrari Monza SP2, the Ferrari 512, and then we get to the Aston Martin 177Q series. Now, there are only 77 177s. There are only 7 of those that are the Q series. And you have to think back 12 or 13 years ago when these were being spec'd. That was a period where we weren't really able to do the same level of bespoke options that you can now. So things like this red lower lip at the front, having the red carbon fiber mirror caps, having the Q graphic just inside, were all really quite unique at that stage. Inside here, the bright red leather finish. We've actually got the plaque in the very center that says Q Series 4 of 177. So I think it's number 30 something of the 77. But why this car particularly stands out to me is I've actually driven it before. 2 and a bit years ago, out here in Dubai, I drove this car in the desert. So I feel reunited with it right now here at Pupil of Fate, which is really quite cool, to be completely honest. Let's come through past the work of art that is the 250 Lusso. I don't really need to say much. Dubai and the UAE, you normally find the much more modern cars. Something like this is, of course, a car that speaks so much about Ferrari's history back in the 1960s. The 250 GTOs, Le Mans, I'm sure you know the stories. The Lusso being the more practical variant. And of course, as an owner of a GTC4 Lusso, there's some heritage that comes from this. But if we walk straight on through, around towards this side, there are even more special cars to point out. Jaguar Project 8. I mean, how many Project 8s can be here in the UAE? It's a handful at most. Turbo S, different 911s, 765 LT. I want to come and show you this 765 LT actually, because you will notice when we get up close to it, this car has a paint fade from the metallic black at the front through to the grey silver along the sides. But come and have a look up close at the bonnet of it. The paint fade goes into the exposed carbon fibre over the bonnet that you have and can see through that. So you've almost got a tri-paint fade here, the carbon, the metallic black, and through to the silver paintwork, which is really quite special. Plus, it's got that optional carbon fibre roof snorkel, which is very, very nice as well. Flachtbau, Turbo S, you can look around and see all sorts of very nice cars. But let's come on through because, as you can see, the showroom extends around. Very nice 997.2 GT3 RS, manual 3.8, 992 GT3, M3 Sport Evo, just here, E30 M3 Sport Evo. You kind of get the point. There are some really, really nice cars here as we come towards many of the Rolls-Royces and luxury cars at the back via two Integrales, two Delta Integrales. These have become very, very popular. This was one of the final editions, hence the livery, hence the design. This is quite a low mileage example, and they actually have another one that's an even lower mileage example, only a couple of thousand kilometers on it, and plenty of other cars that are tucked away in the more secret vault, so to speak. But inside here, I want to show you, have a look at this. It's still got all the plastics in it. All the seat plastics, sorry, not seat plastics, the floor plastics, the door plastics have all been kept on from new. Looks like it was made basically yesterday, which is really quite fun. So yes, there are more cars around, more Bugattis, more Hypercars, but things need to keep a little bit secretive about for the time being. Not bad, hey? Not a bad place. This feeling of space, of being able to look at the cars. There's a VIP customer lounge here. There's actually a Morgan just tucked inside for customers to have and a private discussion about the car that they're looking at. Different approach to many, very different approach, but I really like it. If you're coming here to buy a car, say the 328 GTS just here or the 550, you've got the ability to have a look around it, which is something that quite often you don't, because cars are just squeezed into very small spaces. So that's what they've done really very differently to everyone else. That was a cool place to come and visit. Of course, we're right here beside Sheikh Zayed Road, the main heart of Dubai, the road that runs right up the middle from Marina up towards downtown. With this, and look at the color of this with the sun on it, the sun setting on a midnight green. This is exactly why I had this on the Taycan. It looks amazing. Obviously, this is the full Gumball livery. As an entrant on the Gumball 3000, you have to have the sponsor sticker set exactly as it is. It's all contractual. So any questions, that's not something that I have any say in. It's all just the way these things are. And that, by the way, down there is nothing to do with this car, in case you're wondering. That is not to do with whatever we were discussing earlier on. But it's a cool car to drive. We've got a few legs of the rally to go in front of us. Driving Jebel Jais is going to be amazing out in Ras Al Khaimah. I took my GT Black Series there earlier this year and did some stunning photos out there. And then, of course, to Abu Dhabi for the F1 Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to that because last year's F1 was dramatic. This year's, oh, there's a yellow Urus just going past. Is that maybe a Mansouri or something as well? Not entirely sure. And a G63. You can just watch the traffic here. Cool cars, like one after another, after another, after another. There's an SLS just there. Case in point, right? Case in point. But yes, now you know a little bit about the story of what happened with this. We just had to wait with the investigation and trying to understand it ourselves and exactly what happened. But thankfully, we're all okay, the car is all okay, and business as usual, we can continue from here. But great to come and visit Pupil of Fate to see this new setup. It is an enormous showroom. I mean, it's almost like it's two showrooms when you look down towards that side and then all the way across towards the other side. But yes, we're here in Dubai. Always amazing to see incredible cars like that and to enjoy driving this. So onwards with the Manhart TR900. As I mentioned as well, you could win a Manhart MH3 600 with BOTB. So be sure to check them out. It could be you winning the next dream car giveaway and driving your own Manhart MH3 600. But that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching as always, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.